Ha ha ha. If WWE wants to tell a story, it doesn't matter what its stars have to do in order to tell the tale envisioned by McMahon and his core crew. But for said stars, some of them have been put in a position where they've had to do some utterly gross things to appease their boss. With that in mind then, I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 WWE stars forced to do disgusting things for storylines. Number 10, Tommy Dreamer, drinking tobacco spit. At present, Tommy Dreamer has been in the news for some bafflingly flippant comments made on Dark Side of the Ring. Back in 2002, it wasn't the innovator of Violence's words that were causing disgust though, but more his on-screen actions. This was a time when the invasion angle had wrapped up, the alliance had been trampled, and the vast majority of WWE's relatively recent acquisitions from WCW and ECW were struggling for TV time. While certain alliance names had to earn themselves a spot on the roster, Tommy Dreamer found himself in the most bizarre role of carrying out stomach-turning acts on a weekly basis. In skits where Dreamer proclaimed himself as just a regular guy, he'd proceed to do gross crap like brushing his teeth with his dog's toothbrush, feast on toilet water, eat hairy hot dogs, and ooingly drink a cup of The Undertaker's tobacco spit. Due to the negative fan response to this gimmick, WWE thankfully dropped it after just a few weeks. But man, it was a rough few weeks for a spell there. Number 9, Vince McMahon's Kiss My Ass Club. If WWE has a chance to do anything with an ass, you can bet your ass they'll take it. Whether it's Mr. Ass, Rikishi's ass, Big Show's ass, Viscera's ass, Nia Jax's ass, Natalia's awful farting gimmick, or goddamn ass cream, the toilet humor instincts of Vince McMahon mean derrieres are always something to say yes to. Where McMahon himself is concerned, of course, he had his own personal Kiss My Ass Club for a spell. This most forehead slapping of concepts was introduced shortly after the 2001 Survivor Series, with William Regal the inaugural member of this club. Jim Ross, Shawn Michaels, Shane McMahon, Mick Foley, and Hornswoggle all became members of Vinnie K. McMahon's Kiss My Ass Club throughout the 2000s. Some of these ass-kissing segments were done to progress WWE stories, such as JR's induction being part of an Undertaker heel turn. But you just know all of them were designed to pop Vince and his bizarre sense of humor. Number 8, Big Show, showered in sewage. In a kayfabe sense, the 9th of October 2003 episode of SmackDown saw Big Show showered in crap courtesy of Eddie Guerrero. With Show wearing his Sunday best as he stood in the ring, Latino Heat made his way out with a sewage truck. Following in the footsteps of Steve Austin and his beer truck and Kurt Angle and his milk truck, Guerrero went on to take the sewage hose and fire it in the direction of the world's largest athlete. Of course, it wasn't actual sewage that Big Show was drenched in. Still, Paul White more than earned his money on that October night, as detailed by Eddie in the Stealing Life, Cheating Death book. The substance that drenched Show in the ring area in 03 was a mixture of dog food and water. Dog food and water is clearly a better proposition than genuine human waste. Yet that concoction still absolutely sucks if you're Big Show. Much like bare asses, working poo is something WWE has been extremely fond of over the decades, because Vince McMahon's a very strange old man. Number 7, Droz. He's gonna puke. For Darren Drozdov, part of landing a job in the then WWF was showing Vince McMahon his unique ability to vomit on demand. All of this was famously caught on camera as part of the Beyond the Mat documentary, with audiences getting to see poor Droz chuck his guts up whilst McMahon barked out gravel voice commentary about how the former NFL star was gonna puke. Not only was Drozdov given the ring name of Puke when he debuted as a new member of the iconic Legion of Doom, but those early days of his career saw him dry heave and at times dribble out a smidge of vom over his opponents or their props. In the case of his first on-screen appearance, that prop would be the motorcycles of the Disciples of the Apocalypse. Of course, one could argue that even more disgusting than the vomiting element was the fact that Droz and the LOD were forced to partake in a storyline revolving around Hawk's very real addiction issues. Number 6, Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin, dog food buddies. In a move that seems scripted by an actual 6-year-old. The 6th of December 2019 SmackDown saw Roman Reigns handcuffed and doused in dog food by nefarious heels Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Bobby Roode. Why did these villains decide to attack Roman in such a way? Why, that's because Reigns had long been known as the big dog, get it? Regardless, getting covered in legit dog food is a pretty rough day at the office. It wasn't just Reigns who had to undergo that experience, mind, for there would eventually be some payback in this painfully long feud. Said payback came 6 weeks later when Roman and his Uso cousins covered Corbin in sloppy dog munch. Just what you wanted to see on a Friday night midway through your supper. Number 5, Randy Orton, Eddie's in hell. With that one hideous piece of dialogue, wrestling fans gasped in shock that WWE, yes, even WWE, would stoop so low in order to generate heat. Those words were uttered by Randy Orton, with the Legend Killer using the tragic passing of Eddie Guerrero to goad Rey Mysterio into putting his WrestleMania 22 main event spot on the line. In storyline, the people made to feel uncomfortable with Orton's comments were Mysterio and Eddie's widow, Vicky. In reality, it was Randall Keith who hated the position WWE had put him in. Speaking on the Kurt Angle show in May of this year, Orton stated how, amongst all of the bad taste things he's done during his career, it was this promo that made him the most uncomfortable. The Viper detailed how he didn't want to use Eddie Guerrero's name in such a way when the idea was proposed to him, but both Rey and Vicky assured Orton that Eddie would have been happy to have his name used in a way that progressed the burgeoning issue between Orton and Mysterio. Considering Randy's comments to Kurt Angle took place 15 years removed from this infamous promo segment, that should indicate just how troubled RKO was and still is by all of this. Number 4, Drake Maverick wetting himself. To some, having to wet yourself in front of millions of people across the globe would be the stuff of nightmares. Not for Drake Maverick, though. As revealed by the former rock star Spud during a recent appearance on Devon Dudley's Table Talk Show, the wet patch audiences saw on his crotch during the 2018 Survivor Series pay-per-view was very real piss. It wasn't supposed to be real urine, though, but Maverick was forced to improvise. That Survivor Series show had Drake in the corner of Raw Tag Team Champions AOP, in their match against SmackDown Tag Team Champions The Bar. After the Englishman had interfered in this contest, he ended up running into Big Show. Once the world's largest athlete grabbed Maverick by the throat, that was the sign for Drake to activate a device in his pocket that would make it look like he'd wet himself. Live on pay-per-view, Maverick ran into a problem when this device refused to work. Thinking on his feet, the former 24/7 champion decided that he still needed to tell the story of Big Show-induced fear causing him to piss his pants. And thus, Maverick went ahead and wet himself live on pay-per-view. Not sure what else to add to that, so moving on. Number 3, Paige, forced to mock her friend's dead brother. Not a single person emerged from the closing segment of the 16th of November 2015 Raw looking anything close to good. That segment was the hugely uncomfortable moment where Paige threw out the "your little baby brother, he didn't have enough fight in him, did he?" line in regards to Charlotte Flair's brother, Reed. For those unaware, Reed passed away from a drug overdose 2 years prior at the age of just 25. For Paige, she was clearly troubled at having to deliver such a classless line of dialogue that mocked the death of the sibling of one of her close friends. And in this instance, it's the anti-diva who was the biggest victim in this disgusting segment. While the heel Paige character came out of this looking like a scumbag, the real-life Soraya Bevis garnered huge sympathy from the wrestling world for having been made to say such a horrendous line. As for Charlotte, she looked awful once it was reported she suggested the idea in the first place. And as for WWE, they, as a company, had to make an official statement to address this distasteful segment. Added to this, Ric Flair and his ex-wife Elizabeth both went public with their outrage, caused by this needless reference to their son. Number 2, Lita, the live sex celebration. By all accounts, absolutely nobody wanted Edge and Lita's 2006 live sex celebration to take place, apart from Vince McMahon and his inner circle, of course. With the Rated R superstar having dethroned John Cena to become the WWE champion at that January's New Year's Revolution pay-per-view. The following night saw Edge and Lita put on the aforementioned raunchy celebration. Upon hearing of these plans earlier in the day, Lita was completely against taking part in this lewd victory parade. As she detailed during a Twitch stream earlier this year, she complained to WWE officials, wanted the segment completely pulled, and had Edge, Cena, and several other talents backing her up and going to bat for her on this matter. From Lita, McMahon was so insistent on the live sex celebration taking place, he threatened to fire the 4-time women's champion and future Hall of Famer if she didn't go through with these plans. By the end of that year, Lita quit WWE, with her having since stated how this whole ordeal played a major part in her deciding to walk away from the company. Number 1, Terry Runnels, the fake miscarriage. While a lot of the entries on this list involve people being put through disgusting physical acts involving dog food, vomit, and urine, Terry Runnels had to endure a fake miscarriage on WWE programming as 1998 rolled into 99. Clearly, miscarriages are a tragic part of life for so many people. Yet the then WWF decided that this delicate, traumatic subject was something they wanted to sensationalize as part part of their Attitude Era programming. It's hard to say what was worse about all of this, that the company ran a miscarriage angle in the first place, or that they later revealed Runnels had faked the whole thing. The watching world was disgusted by Vince McMahon's promotion using such a sensitive matter as a source of entertainment. And Terry herself has since talked about her disgust about this. Speaking to Freakin' Nitro TV about this storyline in 2016, the one-time Marlena stated how troubling she found all of this, and it's not hard to see why. And that's our list. Know of any other WWE stars forced to do disgusting things for storylines? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video you are watching is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you as always for clicking on this video today, and I'm sure I'll see your faces very, very soon. Bye-bye!